Hi, ladies and gentlemen. In our last class, we took you on the internet via Microsoft's Internet Explorer. Internet Explorer is a browser that allows you to browse or look around the internet. We also told you that we started on our home page that is Yahoo. And I want to go into a little more detail about the home page and some of the things you're seeing here. When you work with software, there are different versions of software, and you can also think of software like cars, where every year they bring out an update. Well, software doesn't necessarily have an update every year, but they have different versions. In the most recent version of Internet Explorer has something called tabs. This right here is a tab, and I'm not going to spend a lot of detail on this, but if you're seeing these tabs, then that tells me you have the most recent version of Internet Explorer. And right now, it is in late 2008. When we look at this, we want to draw your attention to the fact that Yahoo, as a web page, has a web address. And if you think of it like your home or your home or office has an address. It has a physical address. Well, the way websites work is websites have an address. And this particular website is right up here. It is www.yahoo.com. Now there's some stuff in front of that, but you don't necessarily need that to find a web address. My web address is either johnanthonygroup.com or teachanolddognewtricks.com. So if you want to find me, all you have to do is come up here to this address bar and type in an address. For example, CNN, their website is CNN.com. So I'm going to type in CNN, a period or a dot, and then the letters C-O-M, CNN.com, and I'm going to hit enter. Notice I didn't put in the www. The browser or Internet Explorer just assumes that and puts it in for you, so you don't have to type that out. In another tutorial, I'm going to show you how you don't even have to put in the .com. But what happens is now we're going to CNN's website. If we want to go back to Yahoo, we can simply click up here on the address bar, and just the act of clicking selected or highlighted all the text that was there. So at this point, I don't have to delete anything. I can just type right over it. I'm going to type in Yahoo, and this time a little keyboard shortcut. Instead of putting in the www or the .com, on the bottom left of my keyboard, there's a key called the Control key, CTRL. I'm going to hold that down, and then I'm also going to hit the Enter key on my keyboard. That's a keyboard shortcut, and what that does is it automatically fills in the www and the .com. So, at this point, what we can do is evaluate or look at Yahoo's web page a little bit more. I want you to observe that when we go to Yahoo, it has a box here for searching. That's where previously we typed in chicken and broccoli recipes. Up here is the address. Here is a bar that has links or things that I go to on a regular basis that I can just simply click on. So for example, you'll see Yahoo is right there. I also want to draw your attention down here to this little house. That's home. Meaning wherever we are, if I click on that, it will take me right back to the Yahoo homepage. So what happens is, in the last example, when we typed in chicken and broccoli recipes, what occurred is we literally went and did a search. And we started a search by either hitting enter on my keyboard or over on the right we clicked on web search. I'm going to hit enter on my keyboard. When we do a search, it returned 12,600,000 results for that. So what happens is when we type in chicken and broccoli recipes, you should be aware of the fact that two things have occurred. There are advertisements right up here. In other words, people have paid to have their chicken and broccoli information list first. So you see it right up here. It's usually the first 2 or 3 results. On the right hand side, these are also what are called sponsored results. Those are people that have paid to be listed there. But if we scroll down, and on the right hand side of the page, this scroll bar, if I scroll down just a little bit by clicking on that, holding and dragging it up or down, well, as we go down the list, we see what are called organic. And again, I don't want you to get scared of these, but these are websites that have come up because they have a lot of information. I'm not even going to attempt to describe how we get to this information, except to say that I want you to observe that this is a link. It's blue. By clicking on it, we are going to go and find a recipe for chicken and broccoli. When we went to this website, which is cooks.com, and again, if you look up here, I'm going to ask you to ignore the very last part of it, but it says www.cooks.com. Here are some more recipes. And then as we look at this page, there are more links. And what these links are is a way to look at different recipes. So if we look at this information and say, hey, you know what, this fourth one, chicken and broccoli stir fry, looks good, by clicking on it, we'll be taken to that recipe. Now what I want to draw your attention to right here is on Yahoo's homepage, the links were blue. Again, a link is something you click on to go someplace else. And a good way to describe it is, let's say, for example, think of Yahoo like a magazine that has 200 pages in it. And inside that magazine, there was a recipe, and it was on page 162. Well, instead of having to flip through the magazine to get to that page, well, all you have to do is click on something and it will automatically take you there. That's in essence what a link is. You click on it and you go elsewhere. Now that link could take you many different places. But as I started to say, the link on the Yahoo webpage was blue. And that's sort of the standard color. And the reason it's blue is because when you have 12 million links to look at, when you click on a link, it would change from blue to purple. That is sort of the standard. It's sort of the default colors. This website has made a decision that they want their links to be green. That is a design decision. And every web page or website can have different colors. There's not a standard that you have to adhere to. They're just suggested standards. So in other words, if I come down and click on the broccoli and chicken stir fry, and I apologize in advance if you're sitting there watching this and you're hungry, it's going to take me to a recipe. And I can read this recipe or I can actually print it out, whatever my desire. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up here and I want you to observe there's a couple arrows. There's a left and a right arrow. Instead of flipping through a magazine, when you're on the web and you click on something, you sort of go forward a page. When you want to go back a page, you can simply click on the back arrow. That takes you back one page. It's sort of like we're flipping through the pages. In this particular case, the link here has turned from green to sort of a darker blue. And the reason for that is when you have a lot of links you want to look at or click on, if it doesn't change color, you can easily lose track of what you've looked at. And when I say look at, I mean clicked on. So when you click on a link to go see some information, what occurs is it changes colors to tell you, don't bother with this one, you've already looked at it. If I want to go back again and click on back and go back another page, I want you to observe that this is the Yahoo search results. That turned from blue to purple. And again, that's the standard. So in your mind, you should be thinking, when I click on a link that's blue, it should turn to purple to let me know I've been there. If I click on the second one, again, it's going to take me to another page. And then when I look at this, I can decide what I want to do with it. I can click on back, and now you're going to see that link is also purple. So here I've started the process of looking at those 12 million plus links. Well, as I click on them, they turn purple. Now sometimes you click on so many links that you sort of get lost. It's like, where am I? What page am I on in this Yahoo magazine is a way I want you to think of it. Sometimes you just want to get back to Yahoo and start all over again. Well, again, I have a little shortcut right here that says Yahoo, but if you don't have that, and chances are you don't, if you click on this little house right there, the home, it takes me back to my home page. Or a good way to think of your home page is like the cover page of a magazine. It's what you see when you first get Time Magazine or Newsweek or Business Week. It's the cover. Well, if you think of Yahoo sort of like a magazine and you want to see the cover, that's the home page. To get there, I can simply click on this home and I go right back to Yahoo and I can sort of start again. So what we've done is we've gone in, looked at links, we've looked at a couple little aspects of this, but now what we're going to do in the next tutorial is take a look at, once you find information you like, what are some of the options for dealing with that information? Information that you might want to print, information that you sort of want to come back to later but you're not sure you know how. We're going to look at a couple different ways you can do that. So right now what I want you to understand is you're cruising around the web, and you started it by simply clicking in this box, typing in something you want to search for. To end this tutorial, I'm going to simply type in baseball. And when I type that in, you're going to see that Yahoo is trying to anticipate what you're trying to type just to make it easier on you. But now I'm going to hit enter, and we're going to see when we type in baseball, we have, oh my God, we have, is that 1,130,000 results? And I'm looking at this information right there. So we have a lot of information to go through. And what I want you to take away from these tutorials to this point is, wow, there's a ton of information out there. And we'll show you how to make it simple so you don't have to deal with so much information. But I want you to be aware of, if something is very popular, you're obviously going to get more results that you have to deal with. So anyhow, I want to thank you for being part of this tutorial. Come back to our next tutorial on the internet and we'll get into some more detail. Thank you.